So there's a QAnon star online who was very vocally against the vaccine. And it turns out she just died of COVID. So look at this from the Daily Beast. They say QAnon star who said only idiots get vaxxed dies of COVID. Kirsten Weldon told her fans not to get vaccinated and wanted Dr. Fauci executed. She just died of COVID. Okay, so what a mess. They say a leading QAnon promoter who urged both her followers and strangers she passed on the street not to take the COVID vaccine died Thursday of the coronavirus, making her just the latest vaccine opponent killed by the disease. Kirsten Weldon had amassed tens of thousands of followers across right-wing social media networks by promoting the pro-Trump QAnon conspiracy under the screen name Kirsten W. She was prominent enough to become a sort of QAnon interpreter for comedian conspiracy theorist Roseanne Barr and started recording videos about QAnon with her. Weldon focused on attacking vaccines and other efforts to fight COVID-19, saying in one video that Dr. Anthony Fauci needs to be hung from a rope. She claimed the vaccine killed people and even recorded herself yelling at people standing in line to receive vaccines. Quote, "The vaccine's killed, don't get it," Weldon warned the waiting vaccine recipients in an undated video posted to one of her online accounts. This is how gullible these idiots are. They're all getting the vaccine. In late December, however, Weldon started showing symptoms of coronavirus infection. In her last video posted on December 28th, Weldon struggled through her remarks about the coming overthrow of the United States government, coughing and complaining that she was exhausted. Oh boy. All right, so I think I have some more on this for you guys. Yeah, I do. 3 days later, Weldon was hospitalized in Camarillo, California. She posted a picture of herself wearing an oxygen mask to Instagram and claimed she had bacterial pneumonia. Weldon wrote in a post on the social media network Telegram that she refused to take coronavirus treatment remdesivir, calling it Dr. Fauci's remdesivir. Oh my God. Weldon's death from COVID is just the latest instance of a far-right personality who opposed vaccination being killed by the virus. On January 3rd, radio host Doug Kuzma died while infected with the coronavirus. In August, QAnon promoter Robert David Steele died of the virus shortly after posting a picture of himself in an oxygen mask and vowing to still refuse the vaccine. In face of these deaths, their surviving friends and supporters have started to allege that the dead QAnon figures are being murdered, either because they were refused internet folk remedies like ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, or because they were killed by the deep state to cover up their conspiracy theories. In December, Kuzma and a number of other conspiracy theorists were sickened with COVID-like symptoms after appearing together at a conference. Rather than acknowledge that they had COVID, the far-right influencers suggested they had been targeted by an anthrax attack. And now, by the way, a lot of the QAnon people are going after threatening the doctors who tried to help this woman. This is a level of brainwashing I don't know if I've ever seen. Because not only did she refuse the vaccine and call people who got it idiots, and then she was hospitalized, she wouldn't say she had COVID, but she had COVID. She also said, I don't want remdesivir either. Why? Because I guess at some point along the line, Fauci said remdesivir is one of the treatments that we use. She goes, that's Dr. Fauci's remdesivir. I don't want it. My guess is a lot of the other anti-vaxxers, if they get sick, the second they're in the hospital, whatever the doctors want to give them, they're like, load me up, buddy. Whatever it may be. And remdesivir is that's one of the things Trump got, along with the monoclonal antibodies and other things. But she says no to that stuff too. Here's how you know it's a conspiracy theory. When evidence disproving it becomes further evidence on your side. And that's exactly what happened here. Like the conference of the QAnon people where they all got COVID and then they said, no, we were poisoned with anthrax because they don't want the truth getting out and we're giving people the truth. And so now this woman dying to other conspiracy theorists, now it's, oh, you killed her because she was telling the truth. And so you murdered her. It's not that she got COVID because she was unvaccinated and she died. It's that she was speaking too much truth. And so now you guys killed her effectively. Oh my God. So it's impossible to disprove what they're saying. There is no evidence that they say, yes, that is evidence counter to my narrative. They take anything and twist it into further evidence of their narrative. TFG, dog. TFG. Too far gone. Look, I have more faith in the powers of persuasion than maybe anybody. But on this front, I don't know how you get through these people. If you see, hey, you all got COVID at a conference, if you see, hey, look, she got COVID, they won't even call it COVID. I had bacterial pneumonia. What? Listen, get vaccinated. That's all I can say is get vaccinated. It's not... I understand if you're skeptical of the data that comes directly from Big Pharma, good, I am too. Because they juice the numbers. And so we know whether it's Pfizer or Moderna or whoever, when they run their own trials, usually they put the best face on it that they possibly can. Be skeptical of that. You should be. But as soon as the independent studies come out, okay, well now you say, it is what it is. The results are what they are. This is just empirical data. And what we know is the vaccines prevent against severe illness, hospitalization, and death. Over 90%. So you are very, very protected. And if you get COVID, it is likely to be very mild. Some people won't even get COVID if they're vaccinated at all, and other people will get COVID and it'll be a very mild illness. That's what we know. But if you're unvaccinated, it's a crapshoot, man. You know, you can be one of the unlucky people who, whatever, has some sort of pre-existing condition or is overweight or just for whatever reason, genetically, this is a virus that doesn't jive well with you and it's fatal. This is the reality. And so you should protect yourself by getting vaccinated, but then also, yes, if you go into the hospital, take what the doctors are giving you. These people are trained experts. They have a much better idea of what works and what doesn't than you do. You can't just read some Reddit thread and be like, well, now I'm a bigger expert than any of the actual experts. Now, look, I got no love for Dr. Fauci either, but I have no love for Dr. Fauci because of the provable, demonstrable things he said that were false along the way, like masks don't work early on in the pandemic. Bullshit. He laughed at the idea of that this may have come from a lab in China. Well, we know very likely it did come from that lab. We know that. I mean, they study bat coronaviruses there. This is a bat coronavirus. It's not crazy to think, hey, maybe it came from there. So there were many things he said that were wrong. And the other thing is there's no humility. They don't say, hey, when they're wrong, they're not like, yeah, I'm wrong or I don't know. So I have no love for these people. But Fauci is not representative of all doctors in the country and all experts in the country. And also, if you look at the independent data and you look at the numbers, the vaccine works. So for the love of God, get vaccinated. And don't take any piece of evidence and twist it into supporting your narrative when it very clearly on its face does not do that. If this woman was vaccinated, it's very likely she wouldn't have died. And the QAnon stuff, guys, get over it. Look, there are real conspiracies out there. Everybody knows that. Whether it's Bay of Pigs or Tuskegee experiment or COINTELPRO, or there's all sorts of conspiracies that are real. But what QAnon does is they extrapolate it to the most absurd place and actually undermine the conspiracies that are real, because then they act like everything's a conspiracy. And, you know, Pizzagate is real, and Democrats are drinking children's blood, and they're vampires, and whatever. Trump is the savior against the deep state. It's like you guys became so anti-establishment that ironically you went full circle and now support the establishment because Trump is a representative of the establishment. So wake up, man. Wake up. She got COVID. She died. If she was vaccinated, she probably wouldn't have. A lot of the far-right radio hosts, how many times have I told you guys this? The local and state-level radio hosts who are conservatives, who are anti-vax, they meant it. And a lot of them died from COVID. At the national level, all the ones who pretend and cosplay like they're anti-vax, none of them die. Weird. Why hasn't any national right-wing figure died of COVID, but so many state and local ones have? Answer, because the ones at the national level are vaccinated. They just pretend like, oh, be skeptical of this, and they're playing a role, they're playing a character. That's why they're fine. They're protected. But the ones who are the true believers, a lot of them are dead. Again, that's what the numbers show. That's not me talking. I've covered the stories of these people. Don't be one of these people. I genuinely feel bad for these people who've been brainwashed, and they end up dying of COVID because they thought the vaccine was a hoax, or the vaccine has a microchip, or the vaccine doesn't work, or whatever. And you could also be skeptical of Big Pharma and question the profit motive while also acknowledging the vaccines work. But yeah, man, it really sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Wake up, guys. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Sometimes the conspiracy is more obvious than you think. And in the case of the vaccines, the conspiracy is they won't lift the patent protections. They're allowing Big Pharma to make endless amounts of money while denying the vaccines to the developing world. That's the real scandal. That's the real scandal. The vaccine itself is not a scandal or a conspiracy. It's that they're keeping it from the majority of the world population. That's the real scandal. Not this cockamamie thing you made up about microchips and QAnon and this and that. She's dead. She's dead because she didn't get vaccinated. I hope some people learn from that. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.